Whenever a nation embarks on a World Cup campaign, the collective unit is always the non-negotiable priority. To reach the absolute pinnacle of world football, a team needs 11 exceptional players on the pitch. A bench packed with quality, impactful substitutes, a masterclass in tactical strategy from the coaching staff, and a crucial slice of fortune arriving at the exact right moment. When all these ingredients align, the championship formula leading to the ultimate silverware. We have witnessed this blueprint executed by Spain and France, and in the coming years, we could very well see Germany replicate it. The emphasis here lies heavily on a structured process, rather than flash-in-the-pan individual brilliance. Yet throughout World Cup folklore, alongside the greatest teams to ever grace the pitch, fans have always been mesmerized by extraordinary individuals who look like they stepped straight out of a comic book script. If we are to pinpoint the ultimate embodiment of a player single-handedly carrying a nation on the grandest stage, Diego Maradona's legendary 1986 campaign is always the gold standard. That was a tournament where Argentina was engineered entirely around the genius of their iconic number 10. Every single attacking sequence flowed through Maradona. Every opponent threw tactical blueprints at him to neutralize his threat, but absolutely nothing worked. From the opening match against South Korea, the opposition's cynical game plan was painfully obvious. They committed non-stop fouls, tracked him ruthlessly, and resorted to extreme measures to limit his influence. Yet, that brutal treatment only magnified his monumental importance to the Albiceleste World Cup. 1986 was the theatre where Maradona reached the absolute zenith of his dribbling artistry, orchestrating games and conjuring magical breakthroughs out of thin air. He repeatedly shredded defensive lines with his Gojovan technique, jaw-dropping balance, and an uncanny ability to operate in microscopic pockets of space. During that run, many of Argentina's fixtures felt less like a collective team match and more like a one-man show orchestrated by Maradona. The quarterfinal clash against England cemented its place as one of the most iconic dramas in football history. The controversial Hand of God opener is still debated to this very day. But mere moments later, Maradona conjured a breathtaking masterpiece, widely considered the greatest goal in tournament history, embarking on a blistering solo run from his own half. He danced past a wave of English defenders, before rounding goalkeeper Peter Shelton to slot the ball into an empty net. Football purists have rewatched that sequence 100 times over. Yet, from a purely tactical standpoint, the semi-final showdown against Belgium was arguably Maradona's most flawless masterclass of the tournament. He completely dictated the tempo, netting a magnificent brace that left the Belgian defensive bloc utterly paralyzed. Tournament statistics reveal that Maradona completed a staggering 53 successful dribbles across the campaign. 37, more than his closest challenger, a statistical chasm that is virtually unthinkable at the absolute elite level of the sport. He racked up 5 goals and 5 assists, a statistical return rarely matched in World Cup history. Even when Lothar Matthäus marked him out of the game during the high-stakes final against West Germany, Maradona still found the definitive moment, delivering the killer pass to unlock the defense for Jorge Burruchaga to strike the championship win goal. It was, quite simply, a tournament won by the sheer, unadulterated genius of one man, while Maradona represented explosive, multi-dimensional brilliance. Garrincha's heroics at the 1962 World Cup stood as the ultimate symbol of a player, altering a nation's destiny in the face of absolute adversity. Whenever fans discuss Brazilian football, Pelé is universally crowned the greatest of all time. Yet, in the context of that specific tournament, many firmly believe that Garrincha delivered the greatest individual campaign in Seleção history. At Chile Ijoluar, Pelé suffered a devastating early tournament injury, ruling him out of the critical knockout stages. Brazil faced the catastrophic prospect of relinquishing their world title. And it was in that exact moment of crisis that Garrincha stepped up to become the undisputed talisman and unexpected savior emerging from the shadows. Born with a physical deformity where his left leg was 6 centimeters shorter than his right, his gait was inherently unconventional. Yet, What should have been a career low-miting handicap became the secret weapon of one of the most unpredictable wingers in football history. Whereas his 1958 breakout campaign relied heavily on raw pace and traditional touchline wing play, by 1962, he had evolved into a far more complete attacker. A vastly improved left foot allowed him to cut inside with devastating effect to unleash lethal strikes, while his exceptional aerial threat was a rarity for a winger of his era, trait that remains scarce even in the modern game. From the quarterfinals through to the semifinals, Garrincha essentially dragged Brazil forward on his own back. Against England, he netted a clinical brace, including a stunning curler from outside the 18-yard box. Facing host nation Chile in the semifinals, Garrincha duplicated that feat, scoring another brace with a bullet header and a ferocious long-range strike with his left foot. Those talismanic displays ensured all eyes were glued to him. Despite receiving a controversial red card late in the semi-final, Garrincha was miraculously cleared to play in the final following a wave of intense behind-the-scenes drama. By the time he took the pitch for the showpiece final against Czechoslovakia, he was battling a severe fever, reducing his direct in-game impact. Yet, his heroic exploits throughout the tournament journey had already secured his immortality. Brazil successfully defended their crown, and Garrincha stood as definitive proof that an individual could fill the monumental void left by Pelé. Fast forward to the 1978 World Cup, and Mario Kempes provided a completely different narrative of individual dominance. He was never categorized among the absolute greatest players in football history, nor did he possess generational technical flair. But within the pressure cooker environment of a home tournament, Kempes became the beating heart of Argentina's maiden coronation. Interestingly, Kempes endured a remarkably sluggish start to the tournament, having failed to find the back of the net in his entire 1974 debut World Cup. His opening matches in 1978 were similarly uninspiring. Yet, when the tournament entered the critical business end, Kempes exploded into life. He unleashed back-to-back braces in the most high-stakes fixtures, scoring a clever opener against Poland before executing a masterclass of composure inside the box against Peru in a commanding 6-0 thrashing. He orchestrated one of the goals of the tournament, executing a sublime one-touch combination to shred the defense before applying a cold-blooded finish. The absolute pinnacle arrived in the final showdown against the Netherlands. With the weight of an entire nation resting heavily on his shoulders, Kempes delivered under the bright lights. He broke the deadlock with a trademark burst of pace and a clinical slideral finish, before striking again in extra time to make it tune, unlocking the gateway to World Cup glory for Argentina. Kempes finished the tournament as the Golden Boot winner and the undisputed poster boy of a national team lifting the World Cup trophy for the first time. While Mario Kempes was immortalized as the ultimate home soil hero, by 1994, Brazil arrived at the tournament in the United States with a radically different tactical identity. Gone were the days of the romantic samba football of the 1970s, replaced by a highly pragmatic system that prioritized tactical discipline, defensive rigidity, and structural compactness. Within this industrialized framework, the burden of creative expression was placed entirely on the strike partnership of Romario and Bebeto. Among them, Romario was the undisputed crown jewel. He found the back of the net in all three group stage fixtures, consistently handing his nation the psychological edge. Remarkably, all 5 of Romario's goals during that tournament were opening goals, a statistic that underscores his priceless value in a tournament defined by hyper-defensive tactics and razor-thin margins. Breaking a deadlock was worth its weight in gold. Against the Netherlands in the quarterfinals, Romario struck from a Bebeto cross, before rising highest in the semi-final against Sweden to ghost in with a solitary match-winning header that propelled Brazil into the final. Romario's greatest asset was his explosive acceleration over short distances, coupled with a lethal predator's instinct inside the penalty box. He was not a luxury showman who dribbled past entire teams or racked up endless assists, but he was an elite marksman who materialized in the right place at the exact right microsecond. During the final, Against Italy, physical exhaustion prevented him from producing an explosive moment. Yet his monumental contributions in the preceding rounds had already firmly established him as the soul of that Brazilian side. The Seleção's fourth world title is synonymous with the image of Romário more than anyone else. Nearly 30 years later, the footballing world bore witness to another legendary fairy tale, this time surrounding a titan whom many feared would retire without the ultimate crown. Lionel Messi, ahead of the 2022 World Cup, Messi had spent nearly 2 decades conquering every club and international honor imaginable. With the glaring exception of the solid gold trophy, he had come agonizingly close in 2014, only to suffer a heartbreaking extra-time defeat in the final. Consequently, Qatar 2022 was widely billed as the absolute final chance to complete the greatest resume in football history. Argentina's opening script was notoriously turbulent. Despite Messi converting an early penalty, the South American giants suffered a shocking tune capitulation against Saudi Arabia. The subsequent group fixture against Mexico quickly morphed into a high-pressure, dirty battle under suffocating tension. It was Lionel Messi who broke the deadlock with a venomous, precise low drive from distance, a goal that single-handedly resuscitated Argentina's dying World Cup campaign. From the knockout stages onward, Messi treated the world to a masterclass in elite-level football. Against Australia, he opened the scoring while completely dictating the game's tempo. Confronting the Netherlands, he delivered a genius, no-look assist to Nahuel Molina before clinically converting from the penalty spot. Facing Croatia in the semi-finals, he struck from 12 yards, before embarking on a mesmerizing touchline solo run, completely turning the tournament's standout defender, Joko Gvardio, inside out to lay a golden assist on a plate for Julian Alvarez. The final against France instantly entered the pantheon as arguably the greatest football match ever played a heavyweight. Box office duel between two iconic number 10s, Messi and Kylian Mbappé. Argentina's talisman netted a majestic brace, playing a monumental role in steering his side to victory in a historic penalty shootout. Finishing the tournament with 7 goals and 3 assists, Messi operated as the spiritual and tactical commander of Argentina, cementing his dominance across every era of the sport and officially claiming his immortal seat in the pantheon of footballing gods. In today's highly structured tactical landscape, individual expression is often sacrificed at the altar of rigid, system-based philosophies, making the emergence of a standalone wildcard factor an increasingly rare phenomenon. However, football moves in definitive cycles. When tactical systems reach their absolute limit, that is precisely when individual genius rises to dismantle them once more. We can only hope that another historic one-man crusade will capture our imaginations, and who knows, we might just witness it unfold in this very World Cup.